Immigrant Talk, the show about immigration issues and other social justice issues. My name is Frances Valdez. I'm the managing partner of F. Valdez Law PC. And today we have some really great guests with us. We have Mario Salinas and Bernardo Pena, and they're both going to talk to us about a new program that's been launched by United We Dream in Houston called the New Majority Houston. So before we start off, I'd love for each of you to kind of tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Sure. Well, my name is Mario Salinas. I'm a proud fourth generation Houstonian. And a few hours after I was born at St. Joseph's Hospital a few blocks from here, they found me in the hospital nursery. They were able to revive me, but they told my mom and dad that I should not be expected to walk nor talk at all because I had been without oxygen for so long that I had sustained brain damage. So at that point, my parents had a choice, to say, okay, well, our son won't ever walk or talk, or do they try to work with me, try to build me up? Thankfully, they chose option number 2, and after years and years of physical therapy, speech therapy, I'm here today. And see, all of that taught me 2 things. The first thing is that we have to be very cognizant of labels and expectations, especially the expectations that we have of ourselves. Secondly, we all have a voice, we all have a story, right? And so even though I deal with my stutter to this day, I make sure to use my voice, I make sure to share my story. And the thing is that those 2 themes can also apply to the Latinx community in terms of civic engagement, but I'm sure we'll get more into that.
Great, thanks, Ben.
My name is Bernardo Pena. I'm from Houston, Texas. My mom and father immigrated here from Mexico back in the 1980s. Although they didn't know each other in Mexico, they came here and they met each other though. But I'm from Houston. I grew up on Aldine Melroute, very heavy immigrant Latinx community, and the reason why that I'm here and got involved with United We Dream is because I seen my aunt get taken advantage of at a workplace. She was working full time, and they decided, since she didn't have papers, to take her check and wave it over her head. So my mother came in there and ultimately raised hell and said, no, you're going to pay her because she worked hard for this money. And growing up, I guess I was never involved in politics. Honestly, I'm very surprised that I'm here sitting down and very honored to sit here with everybody here. But I just want to say, I guess everybody has a story, like Mario said, and I guess to sum it up for me, I just want to make the world a better place than it was when I received it. And that's it.
So you said you didn't expect to get involved, so what made you get involved?
What made me get involved was it happened after high school. I have a really good friend named Jose Garcia. He lives down the street from me, and at the time we're both talking about what we're going to do next in our lives, and college popped up, and it turns out I didn't know his family was undocumented, and his family was just the ultimate family. Like, they're so caring, they're loving, they help out the community. It's just that they don't have papers, and I seen the struggles that he had to go through, and I just didn't think that was right. I felt that he deserves a right to gain an education, not just stand at the high school level, but ultimately to make it an easier way to go to, into college or university. And I seen how he was just very disturbed and very sad that he couldn't really push on and go to the next level.
So you're both U.S. citizens, so tell me though about this project that with United We Dream and how and what y'all are doing.
Sure, sure. Well, basically, it's called New Majority Houston, and the tagline there is many stories, one voice, because we live in the most diverse city in the U.S. And just like you heard Bernardo say, there's countless families in this city that they've gone through a lot just to be here today and to work hard and to try to, give something back to their family, to their community. The thing is, though, Texas overall has a very low rate of voter turnout. And then within our city, even though we're the most diverse city in the Latinx community, it's the biggest population group here, we have low rates of voter turnout. And I think the best example to, kind of paint that picture is the fact that we make up over 40% of the Houston population. There are 16 seats on Houston City Council. So you would think, okay, so we should have, a bit under half, maybe 6, 7 seats. Out of 16 seats, there's only one that is occupied by a member of the Latinx community. And the biggest is that most folks don't know that. And another stat is that Harris County, the county we're in, is the deportation capital of the U.S. So this campaign is to do something about that, but it's a more long-term thing. Of course, we want to make the biggest impact we can in this election cycle, but it's about starting to grow that community power. We're the biggest demographic group in this city. So in terms of voting power, the potential is there. The only thing is, do we understand the issues that are affecting our community, which includes the undocumented community? Those of us that can vote, it's important that we know that we are not only speaking for ourselves, but we're speaking for our undocumented brothers and sisters that are affected by the policies that come down from our elected officials.
You talk to people about 287G, and then you're saying you want them to vote. So what are the offices that they should be concerned about? Because isn't immigration just a federal issue? Are there any offices locally that people should be involved in?
Yes. And so, yes, when we do think about immigration and deportation, that is handled by federal agencies. But in this case, 287G is an a totally optional agreement between ICE and the Harris County Sheriff's Office. And again, our local tax dollars are going to make this program run here. So when we say, oh, well, no one can do anything about this because it's a federal issue, or, we have to wait for some sort of immigration reform on the federal level. I mean, absolutely, we do need something like that as soon as we can. But there are things that affect the immigrant community on a local level, and that's where we as voters can have the biggest impact, because local elections are the most easy to get involved in as far as voting, but in order to, you need to understand what's going on.
So, Bernardo, how would someone learn more about, if it's the sheriff's office, how would they learn about their stance on this issue?
Well, as part of the United We Dream C3, we can't name candidates, but what we do recommend to people when we talk to them, just to simply go on Google and look up all candidates and see where they stand on 287G, and simply just to educate themselves what 287G is and what different policies they have in Houston.
So, was that something that comes up on like their website, or is it something that they'll just see in news stories, or how do they?
Well, the great thing is that there has been a great local grassroots campaign that has really brought this issue to the forefront. So if you Google like 287G Harris County, you see all of these news stories come up, and it doesn't take long to understand, who are the players in this and what we can do.
So it's my understanding that that the county commissioners court also affects the budget of the county, and they essentially run our county jails. So I'd assume they have some influence in this as well. And then we have a county attorney as well, who oversees the laws and making sure that our county officials are following the laws and treating people equally under the Constitution. So it sounds like you're saying generally if people learn about the county officials in 287G, that they'll get a sense of what's going on. And I think, the county, Harris County officials are something that I don't think a lot of people talk about, right? You mentioned, city council, for example, but I don't know if either of you can kind of talk about the county officials and the kind of control, and we even have what they call the county judge, right, who is almost like a mayor, and I guess the best way you could think about it for the county. So I don't know, I think that would be helpful for people to understand how does the county work, because I think a lot of people don't even know what do county officials do.
Sure. Well, so first let's look at what the demographic makeup of Harris County is. So again, Harris County is about 40% Latino. There are 4 county commissioners that sit on the county commissioners court, and then there's 1 county judge. So we can think of this as, okay, they're the council for the county, and they all have their turf. And then the judge, he's like the mayor. But again, we're in a place in the county where even though there is a substantial Latinx community, there is not one elected official from the Latinx community at the county. And so, and you're absolutely right. When we talk about local things, we often talk about city council, city hall, the mayor, everything else. And even the space that the county commissioner's court occupies, it's almost like it's not meant to be accessible to the people of the county. It's up in this ivory tower at the county administration building downtown. You have to go to the top floor and go through all of this security to get in. And once you're in there, there's a lot of people there that are just involved with the day-to-day business of the county. So I say all of that just to state that, yes, most of us don't know a lot about the county and how it works, but I would argue that that's exactly the way they want it. And we've all learned and know that knowledge is power, and I think that we should all understand that these people on the county commissioner's court and the county judge, they impact us and our families day in and day out. We need to understand what they do. We need to know who they are. And I think that the issue of 287G is a great way to start, but we need to fully understand what it is they do and how it affects us.
Great. I'm also a native Houstonian, and I love this town, and I just feel like it's a beautiful place. We have beautiful people, the most diverse city in the country, and that we need to live up to our potential of being a welcoming city. Tomorrow I'll be celebrating Citizenship Month with some nonprofits and helping them help people naturalize or fill out the forms for naturalization. And the city, is going to be celebrating Citizenship Month in November. And Houston just became what they are calling a welcoming city. And so I think that there's also a lot of opportunity for our city officials to react to what's going on in the county, and because the city of Houston is the biggest entity, right, city in the county of Harris, and so what happens, we have a big interest in affecting change at the county level as well as Houstonians. So I look forward to continuing the conversation, and hopefully y'all will come back and we can talk
Absolutely.
some more. So thanks so much, and thanks everyone for watching, and take care.